My name is Samantha Shea. I am a junior psychology and sociology major.
I'm Dr. Sarah Majidi. I'm a licensed psychologist. I've been in college mental health for 14 years. I've worked here at Cabrini College for 8 years.
I personally just think differently than the average person, but my daily life doesn't change just because I have a mental health problem.
I really don't see any difference between normality and psychological illness.
I personally don't like the word normal. It's a socially constructed word. It doesn't actually exist. We just place it upon what we think is the majority, but it's really not true because more often than not someone knows someone with a mental illness or has a mental illness themselves.
I think that that mental illness, emotional struggles exist on a continuum, and that anybody at any time in their life is vulnerable to experiencing some period of emotional illness.
I already knew I was different. People in my family have always suffered with various forms of mental illness, but I don't think I reacted negatively. It wasn't positive, that's for sure, but it wasn't a huge, complete shock.
People are often scared of the unknown and therefore tend to think about mental illness in that way. They tend to see mental illness as a sign of weakness and imperfect or different way of thinking. People also tend to isolate themselves when they know that they have a mental illness because they are scared of public humiliation.
It's more related to the stigma of mental illness because they don't feel like they can seek help and they don't feel like they can be integrated normally into society.
I think there is increasing awareness in the general population about mental illness and about how common it is. I know here on campus we put a lot of effort forth to decrease stigma, to again increase people's understanding. Active Minds here on campus is also, their main mission is to increase awareness, public awareness and knowledge about mental illness and to decrease stigma. I think we're getting there, but I think certainly we have a long way to go.
It is important to focus on each individual differently, to find some outlet of stress relief for them, whether through verbal or nonverbal expression. Sam has found that theater is her way of expressing herself and coping with her mental illness.
Been in the theater since 2nd grade, and I've always been in art classes from before I can remember. And that gives me an outlet to create, which helps me relax my mind. And it gives me a channel for the problems that are going on in my mind.
If we look at media portrayals, cultural portrayals of individuals who suffer mental illness, it leads to stereotypes. What we don't know scares us, and so often it's that natural survival mechanism. It's that notion of the more people understand and are aware, the less fearful they'll be, and the less stigma there'll be, and the more acceptance there'll be.
But once we realized that 1 in 4 college students, or I think the number is 1 in 6 people overall, suffer from a diagnosable mental illness, we realized we're not all that different. So then they feel more comfortable to seek help if they're not being persecuted. I think my shyness holds me back from making new friends, but that has nothing to do with my mental illness. I think I interact like every other person on the planet. Typically, there's nothing really that different between me and everyone else.